use a tool that you can have the confidence to ride your bike. Oh, it's just like a dream come true. Like it's so, I can't believe that we're actually doing it. So it's really
How are you?
nice. I'm good. How are you?
You're the other side of the world. I'm in Turkey right now.
I
Where are you?
know. Scotland, but apparently we both have snow.
Scotland. Yeah, it's snowing here. It's snowing here as well. So, for anyone who doesn't know, you should know, but Sarah is one of our illustrious limb buddies. Actually, how do you describe that? What is a limb buddy?
A limb buddy is basically just someone who's there for everybody's needs. So whatever you want, from first inquiring about Koalaa, getting information, to then getting measurements for us making you a koala, to then the aftercare of, it's not fitting right or you want a different tool and all these different things. So anything really to do with koala, you can come to me and Amy as well, who's one of our other limb buddies. Um, yeah, you just come to us and I'll answer your questions.
And the beautiful thing is, you have a limb difference. So, I feel like you will get a lot of where people are coming from implicitly, which is
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
nice.
It's really nice. It's nice to. I know when I was younger in that age that if I met someone who was older that I could talk to about all these different things, or even I'm sure my parents would be the same if they came to a service like this and there was someone there that could talk to that they could relate to and ask things, anything really, from like how do you tie your hair to putting on makeup or yeah, going on your bike. So it's really nice.
Bike, because you are a keen cyclist.
Yes, I am.
Why always liked biking, cycling?
Yeah, I've always loved cycling. I think that was one of the things that my family done as like a holiday when like a hobby when we went on holiday. We always took the bikes and went mountain biking and things. So yeah, it was always part of like family fun.
And what was the typical bike setup? Did you learn to ride with one hand, or were you given certain things to mess around with? Or
Yeah, so first well really I've always went to the NHS. That's kind of the only avenue we knew of, and in
hmm.
the 90s into early 2000s there wasn't really much out there, so I had a kind of hard pass prosthetic and it had like a metal pole that came out of it that had a socket and then a ball went onto the handlebars and you clipped on that and I absolutely hated it. I thought it looked like a Teletubby pole. I've always said that, like the little pole that comes out in the program. And I was just really self-conscious of it, and it was just one of those things that I thought, surely is this all that anyone can offer me? I'm like a
Hmm.
teenage girl or something as well, and actually I went off cycling in my teenage years because of that. I was so embarrassed by it, and yeah, you're kind of going through that phase in your life, so I kind of stopped cycling for a bit, and then it wasn't until later on I wanted to get back into cycling, like when I moved to the city in Edinburgh and stuff. And I was like, surely there's something else out there. Like there has to be. So yeah, I went back to the NHS and found out that actually there's not many more options out there other than this kind of ball and socket idea. Or now, I ended up getting, it's kind of like a Lego hand shape. It's made of rubber that sits on. But I mean, the socket itself is still not amazing. It's this hard, solid cast. There's no giving it. If you sweat, it gets really kind of like sweaty and clammy, and like we've had to drill holes in it and things to let like sweat drain out. You've seen some videos of me pouring like sweat out of it.
I'd heard people say that a lot of times, but I'd never actually seen it. I always kind of assumed it was a slight over exaggeration, but you literally showed me pouring
Yeah,
sweat out, which is kind of mad.
it's horrible. And then your arm goes all like pruned and like, oh, and if you take it off, the amount of times we've been cycling, I've taken my arm off and to at lunch or something, and I just can't get it back on because it's like sticky or my arm's like swollen up because you get hot and your body swells when you sweat, and like I've just been stranded. I remember pouring like talcum powder and stuff all over my arm just to try and like put it back on.
That's no way to live, Sarah.
No, it's not.
It's
And I was
no way to
like,
live.
yeah, there surely has to be something else out there. So yeah, on my mission to find something else, that's when I saw Koalaa on Instagram.
So that's how it
Where-
happened. So you were looking for something for cycling, and that's how you stumbled across Koalaa.
Yeah.
Epic, and that's quite cool. And then, so do you remember those conversations with us? Do you remember how they sort of went?
Yeah,
But I
really
guess
well.
also like what you were expecting versus how how you were greeted.
Well, yeah, it was Brian who answered the phone. I think I emailed, and then Brian just like phoned me like straight away. And now like Brian's my boss, and it's all like really funny, and we really get on. And for him to first phone me and ask me all these questions about cycling and what I want to do, and he was so enthusiastic about it, and he had like, you know, he's such a wisdom of knowledge that he just like knew all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I've never had this service before. You know, I went to the NHS and asked them for something to do with the bike, and they were like, I'll only deal with legs. I don't know. And I was like, what? Like, why don't you know? So they had no interest in the sports side of it, or me trying to, you know, I see it as you supply them to make you seem like everybody else. They're not trying to do it to make you better, even just with who you are. It's not the right kind of attitude towards it, where Koalaa is like, we're not here to replace your arms. It's, you want to do that task, so we're going to help you do that task.
Well, yeah, I remember when Brian first met you, and he called me. He probably must have called. Got a great project. Let's do this. And I mean, what was going through my head was, I mean, you know, Koala's founded on just the principle of listening to people who actually use these devices that we're building. Because, you know, I have both my hands, so you just have to listen. And one thing that we would hear a lot from families with young, well, actually, yeah, mostly young children, were that they really wanted something for their little one to cycle with. And so when Brian called me up and said, "Oh, you've got to meet Sarah. She's planning this big cycle. She really wants. She can't find anything for her. She really wants to work on something." I was like, "Yes, amazing. Let's do this. Let's get her in. Let's see what she needs, and let's just make something for you." Because also, I thought that would be, you know, hopefully we made something that you found useful. But if it works, because it would be designed essentially by you, something we could share with other people and these other families that are asking for stuff as well.
No,
Which
definitely.
well, that's what I'm hoping how it sort of went. So I mean, after that initial conversation, what was the kind of process of working with and getting to something that you could actually use?
Oh yeah, well that was like an experience. I remember, well, once we spoke, you said, come down to London and let's make something. I was like, wow, yeah, let's go. So yeah, I came down to London, little me and Woody, and went to the workshop. And yeah, I remember like we had a few ideas, like me and my dad had knocked up this cardboard
That's it.
version.
You had cardboard ones, which I love.
Yeah.
They were awesome. You know,
Yeah.
you joke. They formed the basis of the design, because who's going to know better than Pops for what you want? So I'm a big fan of cardboard.
Yeah, I've still got them. I'm gonna keep them in my little archive of arms. But yeah, coming down and just being able to like talk to you, and he's listened and really wanted to make something for it as well. And then yeah, I tried lots of different prototypes, and yeah, over time we've kind of just, like, the design team have done amazing in creating this tool. Like, I didn't even know what I wanted. That was the problem. It was kind of like, I know it needs to work in a certain way, but I don't know how it should look, and how it's actually like gonna work from an engineer's point of view. So that's where they kind of, you know, were able to refine it in that way. And I'm just the test dummy, really, now at this point. Like, you make things and I'll try it out. So, yeah, it's really cool. And like you said, that if it was going to work for me, we want it to work for lots of other people as well. And that was kind of my goal, and my like goal for this cycle trip is, if I cycle with it, then I want it to be more of a statement. And if I do meet people along the way, I can tell them, look, this is something that will help you cycle. So it's not just for me. It's like, oh, let's arrange to meet kids around the UK or in different countries to say, oh, you've got a limb difference, then come meet me, come talk, and we can get you one of these and send them to Koalaa. And that's kind of my goal from what I want to do. So yeah, being able to do that is really cool.
Do you remember when? Because I remember it well when we came down, we went to the workshop. Like, right, let's just block out some time and let's play around and make stuff. I wonder if you remember the initial set of like criteria you wanted for this like tool for you, or this dreamlike setup. Do you?
Yeah, well, it's definitely something to cure the sweat issue.
Yeah.
Like, that's what drew me to the sleeve in the first place, because I'm like, oh, this looks like it'll either absorb my sweat or it'll be quite airy to it might minimize it. So that, and then having confidence with it, and actually, I suppose, being excited to show people it, because I'd always hidden my other one to the point of like I actually glued like a glove around the arm to make it look like a real hand, because
with that cool little pink patch underneath.
Yeah, I used like pink tape to like tape it together. And I actually used stuffing from one of Woody's, my dog's toys, in the glove just to pad it out. So that's the extent I went to, because I really hated it.
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
So, well, I mean, but it looked the part, but maybe that's not the point. I was more embarrassed by it, but it doesn't need to look the part. It just needs to work, and me to be proud of it and not ashamed. And I think that's a terrible way to look at it. I should be like not trying to hide my arm. I should be saying, look, I've got this arm and I've got this cool thing. People should recognize it for what it is. Then, so yeah, like we went over so many designs of what we wanted the sleeve to look like, or even the tool can do the part, but it can actually look like a star if we want it to. Like, the end can look like whatever we want, as long as it works. It's got the basics to it, but it's more, what do you want it to look like? Like, that was really cool.
So if you had to describe the design that we ended up with, like of like the sleeve and the tool, to someone who had never seen it before.
Yeah, like sleek, cool. You know, we've had this discussion so many times that I'm like, I want it to be as simple as possible. No faffy bits sticking out, and it's got to be like streamlined. You know, that's what a bike is like. And girls, in a way, and boys, they want it to look cool. They want it to be like, you don't see Iron Man with all these little like tassels hanging off. He's like streamlined and cool.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, because cycling's a huge one, and it's been really fun. And actually, like the simplicity is one thing that we try to keep really cool, because the way you hold a hand, well, it seems really simple, but there's lots of things it's doing, isn't it? I mean, you're often, especially if you're standing up or sitting down, you're just pushing an incline. You're sometimes leaning on it, you're sometimes pulling back. But then, if anything happens, you need to suddenly like, oh, get off, you know. Yeah. And I think we take that for granted. And also, you need to go like left and right, but you don't want to go up and down the handlebar. So it seems really simple, really complicated. And the solution we came up with is to just wrap the handlebars in Velcro. Goes on, so it's on there as much as you need. But if you need to get off it, you just can. And that's like such a simple solution. Brian was the one that came up with that. And I was just like, yeah, why wouldn't that work? And then we just tried it, and it worked. And so now we're actually starting to send it to people, which is really exciting. But I wanted to know, because you know, before this, we'd sort of designed stuff in isolation. With you, it's really the first time that we sat down and was like, well, let's design around what you need, and the rest will figure itself out. Like, how does it feel knowing that like dozens and dozens and dozens of families are now getting something that only exists because like of your brain? Like, how does that feel?
No, it's definitely a lot of other people's brains, but it's crazy where I've actually like had a little cry because it's been
Really?
so nice. Oh, just the past few weeks now that we're able to tell like people that yeah, we've got this tool and we've sent out like emails to people, and I've been getting in touch with everybody that we've got already who have our other sleeves, and their response from it is just so exciting. They're like, oh, this is best hours. He just got a bike for his Christmas, and oh, it's the birthday coming up, and he's so excited, or she's so excited to get on her bike. And oh, I'm like, that was the goal to really. I remember when I first started this job, and I was talking to kids, and they were like, we asked like, you know, what do you want to do? What's the kind of task? And like 80% of them are like, I want to ride my bike. And then I'm like, why don't you ride your bike just now? And they're like, because it hurts, or it's uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. I'm too scared because I don't want to fall off, and I'm attached onto the bike, which I've done a million times. And being able to say, like, here's a tool that you can have the confidence to ride your bike. Oh, it's just like a dream come true. Like, it's so, I can't believe that we're actually doing it. So it'd be nice.
That's so sick, though. That's like, people ask me, like, you know, how's work? I'm like, literally every day is just the best day ever. It's like,
This past week, all the messages that I've been getting, I'm like, oh, how can I have a bad day? This is such a good day.
and that, actually, that's so good to hear, because I mean, like, we enjoy it from the design side, but it's nice to hear that from a user side, it was like a fun process as well. That's like really nice to hear. That's the dream.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think once everybody starts getting it and we're seeing everybody on their bikes, it's just going to be like, oh, even better. It's going to be so good.
Well, last thing, and then I'll let you go about your day, and I'll carry on swanning around in Turkey. But last thing, I mean, if there's, what would you say to someone who, because it's not an easy decision. I mean, to enter the world of prosthetics, and it's a whole thing. So, and we try and positive experience. Like, what would you say to someone who's sort of, you know, I've heard about these Koalaa guys. I'm not sure what they're about. Not sure whether I should get involved or not. Like, is there anything you'd say to someone who's thinking along that?
I would say just give it a go. You know, there's no harm in trying it, and we're all of us are like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Then, but you've tried, and we are able to give you that option to try as well, which I think is amazing. I think a lot of people are worried that it's not going to work and it's not going to be right for them, and they don't want us to be disappointed in a way. But I think when I speak to people, I'm always like, just try it, it's fine. Like, if you don't like it, send it back to us. And they're like, oh, really? And then they might end up liking it and they might not. So I think just having the option to try it, the option's there, will mean a lot to people. It would mean a lot to me, you know, definitely that age.
Oh, bless. No, I mean, I think it's. I hope it's. I know from my point of view, like it's a privilege to have the kind of things that Koalaa offer, to be designed by the people that they're designed to be useful for. So, thank you for your time. thank you for giving it a go. To be honest, like, thank you for giving it a go. And
with me, try and make it.
yeah, and I think you're right. Like, give it a go. It's been so fun, and it is so fun. So, no, Sarah, you're a legend, and yeah, I hope you get lots of good hours on the track out of the tool you designed.